Little Man is about a fella I knew in the early 2000s. I was living in the Canary Islands. His name to us was Wee Scottish Bob. I only found out about 3 years later, 3 years after knowing him, that his real name was Alan. Well, he loved Bob Marley. I think Bob was one of his favourite artists, so people gave him that name Bob even before I met him. He introduced himself as Bob. That was just his name. It was only like they said about 3 years after the fact that I learned his real name was Alan. We were at my place having a drink as usual. He'd spend Friday nights at our place now and again. It was only then that you really got to see Alan. Bob was the entertainer, the joker and all that. But I love these times because we could always be ourselves away from the stage and open up about ourselves, our families and all that. It was only then that he would open up about his childhood and growing up in Scotland and his siblings and being in foster care. And the one thing that always changed his mood, made him a wee bit more sorrowful to me anyway, was when he talked about his twin sister Linda. He hadn't seen her, heard from her in years and years, and the only thing the only thing he told me that he knew about her anyway is that she'd moved to Australia, and that he didn't know whereabouts. And I'd always say to him, and I always meant it too. We're always drunk, of course, but I would say, Bob, when I win the lottery, we're going to go to Australia and we're going to find your sister. I promise you that. And Bob Fison, he'd always wipe away a wee tear and wink at you, and he'd shout at the top of his voice in a Scottish accent, "Right, fuck off!" And then we just continue on drinking. That was Bob. When I, when I first met Bob, I knew that no one when you make a friend straight away. He's that kind of person that makes you feel like he's already been a part of your life for years. He's never too serious. My God, he was funny, but he was one of the funniest people I ever knew. He also was a great lover of music and a musician himself, so we always had that to help us bond. And of course, the alcohol was always there to help too. I only had the pleasure of knowing him for 5.5 years, but his relationship meant a lot to everyone. I mean that, he was loved by everyone. So anyway, as I left the Canary Islands, I hadn't spoke to him or anyone in maybe about 2 years, apart from a few people over there that actually had Facebook. One day I was just chilling here in Canada, and I got a message through on Facebook, I think. Can't even remember who it was that told me the news, but I got a message through from someone saying, "Did you hear about Wee Scottish Bob?" Of course, your heart just sinks in. You don't know what to expect. I didn't want to hear anything bad or negative about him, but then the next message came through that Bob was found dead in his bed. My understanding, he hadn't shown up for work, and someone went to his place, checked to see if where he was, and I don't know how, but they got in and found Bob in his bed. I believe he'd suffered a heart attack or something in his sleep. Don't actually know the details, but that doesn't matter. He was gone. Got on the phone and called close friends over there, Katrina and Greg, and they confirmed that it was true. And then at that point I broke down then. You just don't know what you've got till it's gone, like they say. I never got a chance to talk to him after I left. I said my goodbyes then, whenever I left. And little did I know that'll be the last time I'd ever see him. So fast forward years later, and I'm sitting in the car one day and listening to the radio, and Three Little Birds come on by Bob Marley. And I turn it up, and Bob just popped into my head, obviously, just hearing Bob Marley. I swear to God, it's no joke. I felt this wall of heat coming over my back and my neck. No, it's like whenever someone grabs you from behind, gives you a big hug. Well, I've always heard my ma being so welcome to prospects of like dead loved ones coming back to visit you, and like, I'm kind of wired that way too. It doesn't really affect me or give me fear or nothing. Like I'd embrace it whenever the door blows open and there's no one else in the room. I always think of a loved one then whenever that happens. You know what I mean? When the door just opens on its own and creaks open. I always say welcome. So whoever I'm thinking of at the time, come on in. And on a bad day, feeling that warm feeling over me, just saying to myself, like, thanks for that, Bob. It really meant a lot to me. Anyway, I went home after the car trip that day, and then the guitar was just sitting there. I hadn't played it in God knows how long. It was just sitting there. And I picked it up and started to strum around. All of a sudden I found myself looking for a notepad. Felt like it had something to say. About a half an hour later, I had the whole song written. Little Man was born. Felt good talking about him. I think that was just my way of saying thank you, Bob, for the song and the hug and the friendship. When we started the band, I recorded some acoustic demos of any songs that I'd written up to that stage. You know, songs I'd written when I was 14, when I first started out, learning the guitar and all that and trying to write, up until whatever we started the Crows in, 4 odd years ago. And by then I only had maybe 20, 21 songs at that stage. I'd given up on music for close to 10 years or so almost. Hadn't done, well, I mean writing ways, like I'd been in bands with my brother and stuff like that back in Ireland, but I haven't been writing at all, so my songwriting was so minimal, like 20, 21 songs in all them years, and I also lost my nerve a bit, so my songwriting, like I say, was few and far between. Little Man was one of them songs that I'd done acoustically, so the lads can hear what I'd written before, and they liked what they heard then, but we didn't start considering it until it became their second album then. When I was in the works, we went back and started listening over some of the acoustic ones to see if there was anything that popped out, and that was one of them, so we kind of chose that one. I love this song, even though I know what and who it's about. It's just sonically, it's a rocker, and I'm very proud of what the band's turned it into as well. Something that's so personal to me, and something the lads can be really proud of too. And the best part, I have to tell you though, the best part of this story is before we released this record, we'd put a rough live video of us playing it up on our Facebook page. And I also tagged the video on a Facebook page called R.I.P. Rest in Peace Wee Scottish Bob. I explained this song was about wee Bob and all that, etc. And years later, so 10 years later, out of the blue, I get this message one night from a lady, and that again made my heart skip a beat. I had a message from Australia. It was Linda, Bob's twin sister. She had heard the song on the Facebook page and wanted to thank me for my friendship to her brother, and that she found comfort in the song and the fact that he had touched so many people's lives. And all I could say was it was in tears nearly. That Bob, we found her, fella. We really found her. Jesus, can't believe it. So after we released Little Man, the video and the single, I got another lovely message from Linda, and I'll read it out actually what she said. She says, "Hi Johnny. I was so overwhelmed when I listened to Alan's song. I cried. Loved the lyrics. Music was amazing. The band brilliant. And it wouldn't sound the same if it weren't for you doing the vocals. Wow. Alan would have loved this song. It embodies everything about Alan. He would have hated the fact that it was about him and for him. Our family, thank you from the bottom of our hearts for your thoughtfulness in this amazing song. Love, Linda." That right there, people, that's what dreams are made of. That's it for me, like. Crazy all them years ago, sitting there having a drink with one of your buddies, making a wish to him, like we'll find his sisters that he never thought he'd see, which, he never got to see, but we ended up finding her, or she found us, all through the song, and that makes this song even more special than just something you can rock along to or whatever. Just the whole story behind it. And anybody listening to this, like I hope you enjoy the story. You get a wee bit of a behind the look of what Little Man is about. So and all that, I'll just say to you what my granddad always used to say: may you live as long as you want, may you never want as long as you live.